Okay, so my name is Diane Kruzina, but I prefer when I'm downtown in my studio to be called Ruby Reusable
And why is that?
because I like making art out of items that have been discarded and I reuse them, or items that could have been discarded so that I reuse stuff. You don't need to buy a whole lot of art supplies. There's a lot that normally gets thrown out or put into the recycling bin. And so something as simple as cardboard, you don't have to buy. Recycling and reusing are similar but different. And what I do is reuse. Why buy cardboard when this is perfectly usable cardboard? And depending on how thick cardboard you need, it's not if you need a non-printed side or maybe you want the printed side. I get stuff before it goes into the garbage can mostly, although I'm not adverse to picking things out of garbage cans or off the street or out of a dumpster if it necessitates. Olympia has the most beautiful dumpsters in the world. When I work with students at schools. I go in as an artist in the schools. So I go in and teach the students how to make the dolls out of the plastic bottles and plastic bags and old socks and just stuff that they have laying around. And it's always great when the teachers and students, the light goes on and they say, oh wow, I used to not even pay attention to what I was throwing out, or I put it in the recycling bin, but I never thought about how to reuse it in an artistic way. And then you start becoming more aware. And it kind of opens up your eyes. No, that's to discourage people from, garbage costs money.
Yes, that's to discourage people from dumping.
It's a fact. And that's another reason why people need to rethink and reuse and recycle, because it costs time, money, energy to get rid of garbage, get rid of stuff. So it doesn't just magically disappear. What I hope when I'm teaching is that I'm sparking some creativity that might spark some creative solutions to the problem of excess waste, excess plastic, just excess everything. So hopefully one of these students will be manipulating these materials and say, aha, I've thought of a great solution. It could happen. I think that's why art is important. This is actually one of my favorite pieces. This is called Portrait of the Artist as a Jewish Mother. And it's made out of a dish detergent bottle and straws. I have 2 sons, and when they were younger, they liked to drink out of straws, and I would save the straws and wash them out. And instead of reusing them to drink, we'd reuse them to make art. And again, with the plastic cutlery, same thing. This is actually, the head is a spray cap lid, and the babushka is a plastic bag that the newspaper, this is actually specifically New York Times newspaper, came in. This is a craft mirror that I actually bought new, but even the letters are discarded. The Henderson House Museum was getting rid of these cardboard letters, the display letters, and they gave them to me. And so like I said, it's like one of my favorite pieces for it being so simple. Actually, I think these were my first Wonder Bread dolls. And I really just like the primary colors, and I like the word wonder, and the pop art feel of it. And it's also kind of funny because people have such strong reactions to Wonder Bread, like ew, or oh, it's either nostalgia or just like this, oh, that's so trashy. And I like both those responses. Plus, like I said, just the aesthetic colorfulness of it. This is one of my earlier dolls, and so she's wearing fabric scraps. And so the leap from fabric scraps to plastic bags, because it plastic bags are more obviously something you're reusing. Fabric scraps, well, I could have bought this fabric new, although I know I didn't. She's made out of a plastic, I think it's 2-liter seltzer bottle and an old sock. And this is a garland that I get from the Goodwill, so it's used garland. You can, oftentimes when I open up the bag, you can tell it's been used because it has that smoky smell. These are light brights, just some odds and ends. We had some remodeling done. These were left over from one of the remodeling jobs. Film canisters, which we used to have, it used to be easy to get plastic film canisters because everybody was using film and had all these plastic film canisters you either threw out or you saved hoping somebody wanted them, or eventually the camera stores were recycling them. And now that we've gone digital, film canisters are not so easy to come by anymore. Yeah, she's going to be in the show that I'm getting ready for in Pioneer Square. And actually, she has another hat that she'll probably be wearing at the Pioneer Square show. This is just her temporary hat, but it's also made out of Wonder Bread.
Now there's a joke about a student asking, or how does that go? There's the professor talking about the creation of the earth, and a student says, you know this joke? The
No.
student says, well, no, that's not true. The earth is carried on the back of a turtle. And the professor says, well, what's carrying the turtle? And the student rolls his eyes and says, it's turtles all the way down. The turtle's on top of a turtle on top of a turtle. So here's the question for you. What's inside the doll? Is it plastic bags all the way down?
Actually, she's stuffed with plastic bags and bubble wrap that I get from some of the downtown businesses.
Mm-hmm.
So like Oli Bikes and Room 30 and Archibald Sisters and Radiance. When I need bubble wrap, I'll take my black plastic begging bag and go to these businesses and ask them if they have any bubble wrap that they don't need. And sometimes they reuse their bubble wrap, and sometimes they're just happy to get rid of it. And then she's covered in tape. Tape is what holds her together, and the tape is obviously new. I have to buy.
Is this piece by any chance called Wonder Woman?
Yes. I want people to look at my art and to be thinking about the fact that, wow, all that plastic, and that's it. It's kind of like, I think they look kind of beautiful, but at the same time, it's not good for you. My model for this piece was a 10-year-old girl. Well, she was 10 years old at the time, and she's a dancer, and she asked to model for me. She really wanted to, and she had her idea about what kind of pose she was going to be in. And she was designed originally for a street art show at the Black Front Gallery in Olympia, where she sat above the door. And so she was up high. And a lot of people didn't see her, and so they were saying you should have had her at like eye level. But the thing I learned from graffiti and street art is the idea that art isn't always just at eye level. It gets up high, and it gets down low, and it gets in the places that most people don't look.